All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our quick informational session on the dual credit bridge opportunity. CPE is super grateful for federal funding available through ESSER and the Kentucky Department of Education to help support our efforts in the state. Just a quick note, throughout the webinar, please feel free to submit any questions you have in the Q&A box, and we'll work hard to get those posted in an FAQ within the next day or two so we can address all of the questions and you can see all of the questions and responses. But in the meantime, you can feel free to reach out individually to Trinity or to me to answer your questions, and we'll share our contact information at the end of our session today. I want to start today's conversation with just a quick reminder about CPE's big education goal, which is to raise the percentage of Kentuckians with a high-quality post-secondary degree or certificate to 60% by the year 2030. Now, we know that achieving this goal is critical to accelerate job creation and grow the economy and expand the state's tax base through the contributions of more skilled and productive workforce. And so CPE is really serious about this goal, and Trinity and I are serious about this goal. Our entire strategic agenda is focused on achieving it. And so we thought it would be helpful for you to see how the dual credit bridge opportunity kind of fits into this big strategic agenda. Section 3 is all about transitions. And in our K-12 policies and programs unit, we are all about transitions and expanding access to high quality early post-secondary opportunities for students. So one of the objectives in the strategic agenda is for CPE to partner with public K-12 schools and post-secondary institutions to provide outreach to students to help them prepare and plan for college. And so we feel like the dual credit bridge opportunity is very aligned to this work. So this is where the current project comes into play. I also wanted to let you know that we continue to hear from stakeholders, especially ones that we've failed to reach in the past and the ones whom we're most determined to reach now, that we have some communication gaps in our state when it comes to early post-secondary opportunities, and in particular, the dual credit opportunity. So we've heard it from you, we've heard it from students and parents and other partners who have been engaged with CPE with the Commonwealth Education Continuum's massive stakeholder feedback initiative of 2022. On the screen, you see some of the specifics that our students and families want to hear more about. And you can see that all of these things are topics that we want to see addressed through the dual credit bridge program. So these are ideas for you to kind of take and start with. So last year, our dual credit policy was revised, and one of the things we were trying to do was to address some of these emerging needs, especially communication needs. And in that policy, it states that post-secondary institutions will provide dual credit students with academic support services such as tutoring and advising, and that they will initiate and maintain communication with teachers and counselors in districts to ensure student success. So, we just continue to hear that communication is a key with this new dual credit policy, and CPE is just seeking to support efforts across the board for better communication. So that's one of the big goals for this dual credit bridge opportunity we'll talk about today. I'm going to turn things over now to Trinity, and she's going to discuss with you some of the wide-reaching benefits and some of the promising strategies that we envision for the dual credit program.
Thanks, Robin. So as we're thinking about using this funding to help grow our dual credit programming for our students, we can consider a few different groups that are going to benefit from these funds. And ultimately, it starts with those students. And what are the things that, the students are getting? So from your programming, we hope that it helps with them applying for admission and eligibility to your university for those programs, and select and enroll in the right courses, because we talk a lot about making sure that students who are taking dual credit courses are taking the ones that are most appropriate for them to help them in their future pathways. As well as, we understand that sometimes there's a technology component and barrier as students complete this process. So these types of programs oftentimes might help students through the technology process, as well as communicating with advisors and instructors, how those credits are going to transfer once they've completed them, and then how are these courses paid for, and what are those scholarships that are available to them? What do they look like, whether it's a KIA scholarship or other scholarships that are available to students throughout the region. Then we're looking at, thinking about how can this programming benefit your students from the institutional level. And one of the things that we find to be really important in the feedback that we have received over the last several years is students are very, very in tune to the universities when they are face-to-face with them. Even though a lot of students are taking online dual credit, we find that this has been very helpful to students feeling more engaged with campuses and their coursework and their professors. So this program that we are going to help fund with these grants, we are going to require that there is a face-to-face opportunity for these students to meet with the folks in these institutions. So doing this is going to, help them to meet those deadlines that are expected of them, whether that's for applying for the dual credit program or even deadlines throughout their coursework and being able to get things turned in on time. It helps grows their self-advocacy and their independence and all of those executive functioning skills that sometimes we feel like might be missing. And these programs are a way to help those students while they are in high school build those skills and build that sense of belonging and support from those campus partners. And then as we look at our high school partners, understanding what their roles and responsibilities are for their high schools and how we can partner together better so that our students are feeling more successful through these partnerships. So how can we help the high school people advise students better? And is there a part of this dual credit bridge program that is available for our advisors and our high school partners so that they can learn more about your processes and systems so that it's a better partnership? And understanding that transferability of credits and advising and the alignment. So it's very, very much about partnerships throughout this entire process. And that is what we are trying to continue to build, is better partnerships for better advising. As you're looking and you're thinking about what your programming might look like for your students, of course, these are high school students. So we want it to be fun and interactive and give them some really some things that they'll walk away with having the knowledge, but at the same time, they're feeling really connected to that campus and they were happy and engaged with what you were doing. So, and some of those ideas about what they should be learning while they're on your campus and working with you are those basics and learning your learning management systems. I know that a lot of schools might use Canvas or Blackboard at the college level, and that at the high school level, they're using something else. So sometimes that's difficult. Working with them again on those scholarships, communication tips for them with their professors, because especially if they're online, sometimes I think they have difficulty kind of understanding how to communicate with professors and what to do in different situations. I know that last year in one of the dual credit bridge programs, the program gave students scenarios of like, if this happens, what would you do? So I'm running late to class and I'm not going to be there on time. What do I do? Or my professor changed our classroom and I don't know how to find it. What should I do? So just talking them through those scenarios, I think, are helpful. Also during that time, I think you could use that time for professors to do some meet and greets, have former students or students that are maybe second year dual credit students talk to first year students about what that's like and what they have done to find success with their dual credit programming. I think that's very helpful as well. Academic advisors, and providing different options for them. And ultimately, we want it to be tailored to your institution and what your dual credit looks like. So we're giving you lots of flexibility to be creative and innovative in creating your program. Here is the link for some dual credit bridge ideas. What I have on here are some of the agendas that we found really interesting and compelling from the last time, the last round of these grants, and some of the things that folks did. And just to give you a starting place. So if you're new to creating a program like this, or you have a program that you did last year and you want to kind of change it up, here's some ideas of programs that happened last year and it might spark some interest for you. And I'm going to throw it back to Robin to talk about the specifics of the grant.
All right. Thank you so much, Trinity. I did want to reiterate a few of the reports that we got from last year's dual credit program, that some of the institutions said that they were able to deliver organized and effective and meaningful experiences to students and families through the grant. They were able to expand existing support for dual credit students, and so they could pilot an expansion to include high school dual credit SEEK students, and that some of them even experienced lower withdrawal rates for their dual credit students early in the semester. And so we're excited about some of the early returns on last year's program. We're even more excited to see what happens this year. So the opportunity that we have this year is a little bit of an expansion of the amount of money that you can request. So CPE will provide reimbursement grants up to $5,000 per site to prepare for or host the dual credit bridge program. Again, I want to reiterate that this funding is available through the Elementary and Secondary School Education Relief Fund. And so we're really grateful for this partnership with KDE that provides this funding, but also want to let you know that some of the restrictions on our timeline this year are due to federal reporting around this grant. At the bottom of the screen, you'll also see that an additional $1,000 may be requested, and this is a special request that you can make to support student transportation. So if you're collaborating with a local school district and you want to provide some funding to them for student transportation, that is an allowable addition to your request. All right, so general guidelines that you want to keep in mind is that the students that you serve must be enrolled, or they must be planning to enroll in dual credit coursework. And I apologize, that should say 24-25. So they're going to be enrolling in dual credit coursework for the upcoming year. And that your events need to take place on or before June 14th of this year. And I know that really gives you a tight. Many of you had your programs toward the beginning of the school year, but because of our federal reporting, we can't extend that deadline. The events need to take place on a post-secondary campus, and we're asking you, just like last year, to collaborate with a local high school partner or district. And of course, we will require a final report, kind of a simple report telling us like how many students you served, how many parents came, and kind of what feedback you were able to collect around that. I think I said this, but I want to make sure to say that the post-secondary institution has to be identified as the fiscal agent for the reimbursement grant. And so if you want a sub-grant, something for transportation to the local district, you could certainly do that. Okay, a few of the fiscal guidelines that we want to let you know about. Of course, as I said before, it is a reimbursement grant, and the invoices have to be submitted to CPE no later than June 21st. So anything that you paid for and you want to be reimbursed for, invoices to CPE no later than June 21st. And again, federal guidelines for reporting are causing our timelines to be kind of tight for this year. Your funds may be used for things like student or participant materials, like if you're going to have a printout for them, or something that you want to provide for students. You can also spend funds on meals or snacks for students or for parents, or if you're having a training session with the faculty at your university or student peer mentors, you can use it for meals and snacks for participants. Can be used to support staff travel or stipends if they're working for the day. It can be used for dual credit course fees or supplies, excluding tuition, things that might be covered by the dual credit scholarship. And I know that many of you, your dual credit courses might include, math courses where they might need math, like calculators or things like that to complete the course, or they might need textbooks or materials like that. So the grant can be used to pay for those kinds of things, or student educational supplies that pertain to the course of the event that you're hosting. So this year, the proposal requirements are a little bit different than they were last year. We're going to allow you to provide a project narrative, but it is limited to 2 pages, and it should include the name of the institution and the district partner if you are able to identify them quickly. Proposed outcomes. What are you hoping to achieve through the program that you're hosting? We'd like to hear a description of your activities, like the examples that Trinity was able to provide earlier. And we'd like to hear about your targeted audience. So are you working with staff to kind of prepare them to host this event? Is there a component for students and their parents? And will there be involvement of community partners? I know that last year some of you all were able to bring in some of your business and industry partners who were able to help support. If you're planning to charge fees to students for participating in this event, we'd like you to include that in your proposal narrative. Timeline of your activities and a brief description of how data will be collected or how you're planning to measure your success. So like, will you send a survey to students or have them complete that before they leave the event? A tentative agenda and a budget template are also provided. And you all know from working with Trinity and me that we want to know what you're planning to do, but we know that as you get closer to the event, you might need to make changes or adjustments to exactly what is going to happen. We also want to talk a little bit about how things are different this year for award determination. So the number of grants that we'll award this year is contingent, of course, upon our limited amount of funding. But they will be, your proposals will be reviewed in the order in which they are received, and they'll be awarded in the order in which they are received. So if we receive your proposal and everything is good to go, we'll go ahead and approve it and start to initiate the contract. If there's something in the proposal we have questions about or we think might need a bit of revision, we'll reach out to you directly through email, and we'll work out whatever it is that we think needs to be adjusted, and then go ahead and initiate the contract. So we want to make this process as quick as possible so that you can get to work and start preparing for your event. So next steps for you to be thinking about, we'd love for you to go ahead and submit your application as soon as possible, including your proposed budget and your agenda. They definitely are due by March 4th. So that's not this upcoming Monday, but the Monday after that. So you have a week and a couple of days. We intentionally added a weekend in there if you want to work on it then. The earlier you get it to us, the better. And it is through a Google form. That's how we would like for you to submit it. However, we know that some of you all have trouble with Google Forms because of maybe institutional restrictions on technology. So if you are not able to submit through the Google form that we have, just reach out to Trinity or me by email, and we'll definitely work with you so you're not delayed in submitting your proposal. But just let us know if that process is not going to work well for you, and we'll make alternate arrangements. And so we'd like for you to visit the CPE's website, and I think Heather put the link to that in the chat. And also there's we'll have a QR code for you here in just a second. And you can find the link to the application and then when you open up the Google application, embedded in that, there's a link to the budget template that you can download and complete. So everything is there on the website that you would need. And a lot of the details that we've gone over today are also included there. They're explained, and all the templates and everything that you'll need will be there. All right, I think that pretty much concludes the information that we have for you today. We'd love for you to reach out with any questions you may have. Please don't forget to put those questions in the Q&A before you leave today so that we can add them to our FAQ document that will be posted there on that same website page and available for everyone. So our contact information is there on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to Trinity or me if you should have any questions. And we are really excited about launching the Dual Credit Bridge program again this year. We were so thrilled to hear about the good results that you all had from it last year. And we know that it really benefits students when they are on your campuses. We love it if it can be a recruitment tool for you to not only serve them in their dual credit, but also recruit them to your institutions when they are ready to be full-time post-secondary students. So thank you so much for the support that you provide for students. Thank you for being innovative and working with us on these tight timelines that we have. And we look forward to hearing from you through the application process. Y'all enjoy the sunshine today, and we'll talk soon.